You are now live. Yeah, it's Lock West in the morning. Dash Radio, the spin room. You know what it is.
Hey, yo, what it do, party peoples? I'll be your man, Bigg Pwee from the spin room on this Feel Good Friday, man. I am so excited. We got a special guest that's going to be in the building. But before we get it popping, ladies and gents, my ride or die, my right hand, my girl, Big Les in the building. What up, Leslie Les?
Pee Weezy.
How you doing, my love?
I'm glad it's the dynamic duo in the set today.
Man, there it is. Hey, so before we get started, ladies and gents, let everybody know about your clothing line that's out so where they can purchase it.
Yes, you guys don't understand how excited I am. This is a venture that just kind of happened overnight where, and more is going to come. But someone has said to me, really random, Les, you need to be in the conversation when they talk about dancers of like Paula Abdul and Debbie Allen. So I was like, oh, and then they start throwing the words like icons and legend, which, you know, you're just working in this business. So I decided to create a tribute line to those women, Misty Copeland, Darcel Wynn, myself, and you'll see I've got hoodies, dresses, hats, socks, backpacks, whatever. Go to my link in my bio at I am Leslie Segar. Go on my page, lesliesegar.com. It's all there. It's at spreadshirt.com. Big Les Dance Designs. Get your shop on, support your girl. Let's do it.
All right, and we're also going to post it in the subject line below also, where you can get a link straight to it also, ladies and gents. All right, now, if we talking about down below, well, you know how we start the show, ladies and gents. Subscribe to this YouTube page right here. Hit that sub button, all right? Give us a thumbs up. Give us that thumbs up. And also click on the bell because we post a new episode Monday through Friday, and we want to make sure that you get the notification that it airs. All right. Plus, we're on all podcast platforms. Anywhere that you get your podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor, you can find the Spin Room. All you got to do is just search us. All right. That's THASPINROOM. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram the same. All you got to do is search us. Let's get it popping on this Feel Good Friday, ladies and gents. We got a very special guest, and I'm excited about this, man, because this is the one great thing about the Spin Room. We edutain you, you know, from entertainment to music to pop culture to fashion. We do it all, man. And this one right here, I'm pretty excited because I think she's the very first to step in the building with her profession. Am I right, Les?
I believe she is. And how I discovered this amazing woman is that BuzzFeed did an article called Around the Way Dream by Pia Peterson. And it was really a spotlight on 90s Black womanhood. And within this article, I uncovered the incredible Melissa Alexander, who has the most amazing photography. She is an artist, and it's like a tribute to all things Black and cultured and sexy and 90s and hip hop, you know, the things that people around the world emulate us to try and be. But her imagery, photography, her art is just beautiful. And then when you see her, she's giving you this whole essence with beads and just blackness and fabulous. I was like, this is gonna be my new BFF. We got to get her on the show because her shit is so fly, so fly.
All right, ladies and gents, let's get Melissa up in the building. Ladies and gents, please make some noise for our girl, Melissa. What up, Melissa?
What's up? Hey.
Peace and blessings.
Hi.
How are you?
Wonderful.
We got
there
it.
We go.
All right. Wait. So I see you got some records back there. So you got wax? You got turntables and everything too?
I was in a former life, I was a DJ and I was strictly vinyl.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I still got my records, and I actually only have one turntable now. So it's not two turntables and a microphone anymore, but I just got one turntable, and I put my records on sometimes when I feel like it.
What was your DJ name?
My DJ name was Sweet Hots.
Yes.
Sweet Hots?
Sweet Hots. Like think of like Red Hots, you know what I mean? It was almost like a candy.
So where did that come from? Where did Sweet Hots come from?
Sweet Hots came from an ex, and that's what he would call me sometimes. And I was like, oh, yo, I'm gonna use that. And that's what it was. And I DJed for probably about, I don't know, probably about 2 or 3 years. And was carrying crates, was getting my fingertips dusty, all that stuff, sitting there sneezing. You
Right,
know what
right.
I mean? I loved it. I loved it. It was
But
great.
why did you stop?
Uh, a couple things. It was like my daughter. I had my daughter. And then so hearing loss runs in my family.
Mm.
And I started noticing that my hearing was it was starting to go out a little bit. And so I was like, dang, I think I might have to put up my needles, right? But the thing is that I still have my needles as maybe a just in case. I don't know. I just haven't been able to part with them, right? So
As you
yeah.
should. Don't
It's
part
all
with them. Don't do it.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
It's a
mm-mm.
whole new
So
day too with modern technology, so you never know. You might have
Mm.
bionic ears in a minute. Be like, I heard you. I'm all the way up. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up. I'm with that. I'm with that way of
so as
thinking.
we look back there in your crates, back here with all your vinyl right there,
See, we
Mhm.
all up
give
in your
me,
house.
huh?
I said you are all up in her
I
house.
know, but I see the vinyl and I love vinyl. Like that is so dope because like we kind of feel like literally vinyl is kind of going away right now because of Serato and everything like that. People
Mhm.
are not going back and getting vinyl, and it's kind of becoming like lost, in which it shouldn't, because this is the form of hip hop where we are at is because of vinyl. It is
Say
part of it.
word.
45. Like, come on, man, this is what we talk about. But us looking at your vinyl right now,
Uh-huh.
2 albums. Give me just 2 albums that just you, if you cannot part with. These are the 2 albums that's back there that you cannot part with whatsoever.
I don't know where it's at, right? It's in there though. First album is Places and Spaces by Donald Byrd. Can't part with that album. That's my favorite album. I can't say of all time, but it's top 3. And it has my favorite song, Wind Parade. So that album, and then I would say Perfect Angel by Minnie Riperton.
Wow. We
Nice.
all know that.
Mhm.
We all know that, like when people choose their music or what we hear them speak so much about who they are. And both of those artists are like soulful and rich in culture. And that speaks a lot to you and your gift of photography. So let's talk
Mhm.
about how and where photography was born within you.
Yeah. That's those music selections though come from my parents, right? Because my parents, I'll put it like this: my dad was 50 when I was in 6th grade, right? So my parents are a little bit older, right? So growing up with them, like my mom's gave me the jazz aspect, the Donald Byrd, the Lonnie Liston Smith, the Pharoah Sanders, all of that stuff. And he was much more into stylistics, Blue Magic, the Delphonics. I mean, like anybody that started with my pops was on that, right? So it was like a meeting of that. And then it's funny because I remember when my parents are from New York too, right? So we would take road trips from Georgia to Brooklyn, right? And my dad had 2 tapes. He had the best of Blue Magic, and he had like this Al Jarreau tape.
Wow.
Now I can't stand Al Jarreau right now, right? I can't stand Al Jarreau, but Blue Magic, you know what I mean? I used to hate. He used to play that tape. He'd like it. Side A would be done. He put it on side B. He'd go back to side A. And now, you know what I mean? I hear Blue Magic, and I'm like, that's that shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So Al Jarreau didn't make the cut.
But it takes you
No,
down
I
hip
hear
hop.
you
I
on
mean,
that.
not hip hop, but it takes you down memory lane when you hear songs like that from your childhood and stuff like that. So let's dive into how did Melissa start with photography? How did your journey start to become where we are right now?
Um, I would say that you know how our parents had family albums, right?
Mhm.
And you could go through these albums and be like, well, who's that? And who's this person? And you hear all these stories, right? And you're almost there with them. I love a good story, right? I love a good storyteller. So my love of photography pretty much started with those albums in our house. And when I was about 16, 15 or 16, I asked my pops. My pops was like, you know, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, I want 2 turntables and a mixer, right? And he was like, say no more, right? That Christmas, I looked under the Christmas tree and it was a little box. And I was like, that's the smallest turntable I've ever seen in my life, right? But it was a digital camera. And I was like, I guess that's cool, you know? So I just started taking pictures of everything. So I wouldn't necessarily have called myself a photographer. I just like documenting the moment so that I could go back and be like, yo, remember when we did this and when we did that? And then as I got older, it turned into me posting some stuff on Instagram and people being like, oh, wow, that's dope. You're a photographer. And I'm like, I guess, you know what I mean? But when I call myself a photographer, when people started paying me, but when I went full-time freelance for myself and really started to get into my own bag, you know what I mean? And document the things that I wanted to see, that's when I really started calling myself a photographer. So, you know, from 15 to 35, right? I've had a relationship with the camera, but it's only really been in the last maybe like 5-6 years that I felt like, all right, this is me. This is what I'm doing.
What were the first pieces that people started to notice? And do you feel that your photography suffers in any way now that it's become sort of on a business side, like on a bigger spectrum?
That's a good damn question, Liz. You know what I mean?
Like
Because
that as a dancer, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Do it for free, and then you got to fight for your check, and then it's like, oh, I just want to dance. So I kind of, it's
and it's funny you say that because I was just telling a friend of mine who was kind of like, maybe I think she had kind of been knocked down, right? And she felt like she was starting at square one. And I was like, you don't realize how good square one is and what a blessing it is because you're free to do whatever you want, right? When I was at that point, my homegirl Lindsay, who I consider like a mentor, she wouldn't call herself my mentor, but I feel like she is. She told me there's gonna come a day when you're gonna fight to do your thing because you're going to have clients who are asking you to do your thing for them, right? Um, Luckily, though, I've been able to. My intentions have always been to work with people that I like work with people whose cause I believe in. So it never quite feels like work. You know what I mean? When I was a street photographer, I live in. Let me just say this: I live in a community called West End. So like Spelman, Morehouse, Clark, Atlanta, are like right around the corner from my crib, right? So this is like a very Black area, or it was a very Black area. So when I moved over here, at the time I was working corporate America. And to be real with you, I moved to this community because I wanted my neighbors to look like me. When I went to the grocery store, I wanted them to look like me. I wanted just everything. I wanted my daughter to go to school with kids who look like her. And so I would walk around my neighborhood, you know, making portraits of people. But I kind of stopped doing street photography at one point because the photo that I took was of these children, and they were by themselves. And I snapped the photo before I inquired about who, you know, if they were okay.
right.
And when I realized that, ooh, sorry, I thought I put on my do not disturb. But when I realized that, um, I knew that I had to take my photography in a different direction. I knew that street photography wasn't going to be the thing for me. I never wanted to be the photographer who said, "I'm getting the shot first, and then I'm gonna see about the humanity part." So I moved into the studio after that, and I started like really working on being in studio, working on lighting. I mean, that's a continual thing, right? But when I was posting those photos on Instagram, it was like I said, a documentation of my changing neighborhood, right? My neighbors stopped looking like me so much. Um, and I wanted to show people what West End looked like before it became, you know, Bed-Stuy, or it became like, you know, any of these like number of communities that have, you know, that have been changed by gentrification.
So West
Yeah.
End. So help me out. For some folks that have never been to Atlanta like myself, how
Oh,
far is West? Hey, hey, hey! No judgment, no judgment.
yeah,
Hey,
right. No judge.
yeah,
How you never been here?
yeah. Right. Ease up on me, Les. But West End's from Atlanta. How far is that from Atlanta?
So West End is Atlanta.
Okay,
Technically, yeah, it's just a community within Atlanta. You know how like there's
okay,
different sections of every city,
okay,
Crenshaw
okay,
to right. You know what I mean?
okay. So
So
it's like
yeah.
Cali is like, even though it's LA, we may say Inglewood or the
Just like
Valley or
that.
something like that, but it's still LA. Okay, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, man, did I miss this on the map?
Now you ain't miss it. Now you ain't miss it.
So so let me know when you started doing your joints and taking pictures on Instagram and people started liking them and it started really getting some major traction and stuff like that. And when you started picking up the camera and taking pictures of, your area and where you were living and stuff like that, did people want to start buying those pictures? Were people trying to buy pictures off of you from Instagram? And
Mm-hmm.
then how did it snowball into you getting clients?
It was like, yo, can you do that same thing that you do? Can you do it for me for this? Right. And I'd be like, yeah, I guess. You know what I mean? Because the thing is that I would have done it for free. Right. I was amazed that people would pay me to do the thing I would do for free. And that's when I knew I was on to something. And I was like, oh shit, that's dope. Like that's something that's 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 stuff that people want, right? People out here hating their jobs. I was one of those people. I was working a 9 to 5, you know what I mean? So I work my 9 to 5 and I come home and I do photography. Or on my days off, I would be out walking around my neighborhood. And I met a lot of interesting people. You know what I mean? I got kind of even the dope boys who hang out by the mall up the street. They would see me and they'd be like, nah, don't mess with her. That's the girl with the camera, right? You know what I'm saying? So it was like I got to know my community got to know me. But when people started saying, we like your style, we like how you do what you do, we'll pay you for it, that's when I was like, all right, there's something here. There's something here for me to explore. But then even further than that, again, I'm a real big person who likes to control the narrative. And not in a not control like I'm a controlling person, but I understand that if we can see certain images of Black people and they're not positive, like, oh shit, I have a tool that I can create what I want to see and how I see us, right? So now it went from being, street photography to creating worlds, right, where Black people thrive.
Nice, nice.
Mm-hmm.
So now,
So how
how do we get into in now I didn't forgot the name of the show just that quick. Living Single. How do we get to Living Single?
That's from being like a kid, yo. Like that's living single. Living single was the joint that me and my parents divorced when I was 10, right? So I moved when I was 10, I moved down here with my father. Prior to that, obviously I was living with my mom's, and like that was our ritual for the week, right? We would watch Living Single and then we would watch New York Undercover together, right? On Thursday nights. Like that was the night I could stay up late. So we would watch that. And I remember looking at Khadijah, right? Looking at specifically Khadijah. I like Max too. I got a little Max in me, right? But it was Khadijah who, and Queen Latifah in general, but watching her own her company, she was funny, she was stylish. I remember the way that Scooter used to kiss her, and I was like, dang, I want a man to kiss me like that when I'm older, right? Like I just loved everything about her. She was open, she was vulnerable, but she would still rock somebody's world if they try to mess with her or her people's, right? She was down to ride for them, but she wasn't afraid to hold them accountable, right? It was all these different qualities. as a young girl that I thought were just, real fly. You know what I mean? And so as I've gotten older, you know what I mean? And I have my own company. I am accountable. I am, somebody who loves very hard. I do have a man who kisses me like Scooter used to kiss Khadijah,
Hello,
right? You know what
hello.
I'm saying? Like, all of that right there, I'm just like, dang, I grew up to become Khadijah James, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I know so many Khadijah James and women who were also influenced in the same way.
So when
So
you
it's,
watched Living Single, did you know
uh-huh.
that was Big Les dancing on Living Single?
Let me tell you something about that, right? Let me tell you something about that. Let me tell you something about that, because I remember being in like 4th or 5th grade and us trying to do the dance. Me and my homegirls trying to do the dance on the playground. Like that's it's so even like being here right now, the 9-year-old inside of me is like, yo, like this is wild, right? Like this is completely nuts. You don't think you're gonna grow up and meet the people who influenced you as a baby. You know what I'm saying? As a young girl who, before I even, before any changes were happening to my body, I just knew that there was a vision of a woman, right? I mean, I can't say every girl looks up to their mama, but I did look up to my moms, of course, you know what I mean? But when you see these fly girls, these fly sisters, right? And you like, yo, she's dope, right? You don't know how to quite articulate, man. That's maybe not how I would articulated it at 9, but I know the feeling that it gave me. And it was like, yo, she's cool. She got flavor. She got something. She has something that commands something that I don't know what it is, but I want it, right? I want to be like that. I want to be like that. So you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I knew as a kid that was, that was Les, but I know that I was watching her on Rap City. You know what I'm saying? Like sneaking, like sneaking, running home from school and being like, oh my God, it's almost 4 o'clock. Rap City's about to be on. And then going downstairs and turning down the sound so that my mom didn't know that I was watching it. You know what I'm saying? My mom, I didn't want her to know. So I would just be like sitting there like this, one ear towards the TV, the other towards the steps,
Just in
or my
case.
mom also wore bang. Yeah, to just listen out. Cause I can't remember what video it was that she saw, but she was like, you ain't watching no more of this Rap City stuff. I don't know what's wrong with your brothers, your cousin, they got you watching it. You can't watch that. And I was like, all right. But I needed to see Les in this like black top that like tied up right here, you know what I'm saying? The leather pants. I wanted to see that with the fly haircut. Like that
wow.
was that was the shit, yo. Like, you know what I mean? So
I love this full circle moment because as much as it warms my heart that I made you feel some kind of way, me reading this article and seeing your images, listen, my hairs were standing up and I'm not knowing. I'm like, who, what? Let me, oh, snap. And you see, I instantly started like posting your photographs because they were just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So to your brilliance, applause,
to
to our greatness,
yours.
yay. And I just want to know, how did Pia Peterson, the writer of this BuzzFeed article, find you? And what has this article done for the progression of you?
That's, so the writer found me through a friend of mine named Layla. Layla is a fantastic photographer who we came into contact with each other on Instagram, and she just instantly was like a big sister, a mentor. In fact, I find that in my life that I attract people who want to help me, not because I need the help, not because I'm like floundering or anything like that, but maybe they see something, and it's happened multiple times. So Layla is one of those people who is just like, I see something and I'm a help you, right? So she came to the opening for Around the Way Dreams, which is the name of my project. She came to the opening in January, and she was like, this is really dope, Mel. I got someone that I want to introduce you to, right? So she introduced me to the writer, and then it went from there. But in terms of what it did for me, right, as a woman, as a photographer, it's a couple fold, right? So the first thing is that it showed me that I'm dope. It showed it showed me that what comes from my mind is worthy, right? It showed me that there's nothing I can't do, no idea I have that is too small or too large that I can't pursue it, right? I've had this idea and I sat on it for a really long time, and I finally said, it's time. My homegirl reached out to me and was like, yo, we have some fencing that we need to cover in some like artwork. Do you have something ready to go? So I said, yeah, I do. I gathered 13 women to me. I said, we're gonna make this thing, and you're an around the way girl. I want you to show me what that looks like to you, right? These women came and looked exactly how they wanted to look, right? And then we wrapped about 30 fences, right? 30 like construction fences in their images, right? So in downtown Atlanta, for about 3-4 weeks, all you saw was like these Black, beautiful women staring at you confidently, right? So, you know, shout out for short to my Ash. Ash is the spearhead of that project, right? And when she invited me to share, I was like, this is what I'm doing, right? So that's the first thing. But the second thing is that all of these women that were involved in the project now have sisters, right? They've grown so close. They're collaborating with each other. They may not have ever met, but they're like, yo, you're dope. And I like to do what you like to do, right? So now it's connecting. So I'm realizing that Around the Way Dreams is not just this particular project. Around the Way Dreams is something that affects every generation of the Black woman, right? So whether it's the babies, the women, you know what I'm saying, to older, it affects all of us, and we all have a story to tell, right? And it's my job, my honor, to gather those stories so that another woman can feel seen, right? Another woman can feel those prickles and those tingles, right? And be like, yo, I see myself. That's all I could want.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
So Melissa,
yes.
as a kid, you wanted the 2 turntables. Your dad gave you the camera, the digital camera.
Yes.
Now you said that you have a daughter. Now your daughter comes to you and says, hey, I want turntables. What do you tell your daughter or that young lady that has read this story or has found you on Instagram and wants to know, like, how do I get here? How do I follow Melissa's, blueprint? What would you say to them?
Be yourself, embrace yourself, love yourself. You're dope, right? I tell my daughter this all the time, like, and it's funny because like my moms used to tell me no a lot. I'm like, Mama, I want to try this. She'd be like, no, right? I'm like, well, maybe I could do, no. Melissa, where are your socks? Oh, they're on my Barbies. Stop cutting up your socks, right? So like my daughter, she's not really into Barbies and stuff. Being that, being that she has an artistic mom, she's around adults a lot, to be honest with you, right? But all of my peoples are very creative, specifically the women, right? I mean, the men are creative too, producers, MCs, artists, you know what I'm saying? All this kind of thing. But the women that I keep around her are women who will make something from nothing, right? So when she says, I want to melt these crayons to create whatever the fuck she's trying to make in her room, go ahead and make it. Don't get nothing on the rug. Don't get nothing on the carpet. Clean up after yourself. But go ahead, explore, right? So I affirm her in that way so that she feels like no, nothing that she wants to do is too weird, right? Or nothing that she wants to do is too wild. Like, because that's where, that spark comes from, right? How do I know that she's not gonna take that crayon and make something fly in 20 years, right? Use it as a medium for something else. So I would tell any woman, whatever you feel up in here, right? Don't let anyone convince you that it's not right. Like, I wanted to study when I was a kid, when I was about to graduate from high school. I told my pops, I was like, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna study art history, right? Because I really love art. I love looking at art. And my pops said to me, he was like, you might as well study basket weaving, right?
Hey, that sounds a
I
straight
was hurt.
too.
I was hurt. I was like, what? He was like, no, you're going to go to school and you're going to study business. And I was like, I don't care about business. He's like, you're going to go to school and you're going to study business. But, you know what I'm saying? Almost 20 years later, my pops was right. Now I'm in business. You know what I'm saying? So he did have some insight, but I wanted to study art history, right? So he crushed them dreams real quick. You know what I'm saying? With no question. He was like, I ain't paying for that. That's not what I'm paying for, right? So, with the generation that's coming up, I'm like, yo, stand in your truth, man. You know what I mean? Like, really embrace yourself. Don't compare yourself. I spent many years comparing myself to, maybe I should be like this, or maybe I should be like that. And then I found that the most success came to me when I was like, I'm a little weird. I'm kind of nerdy. I really like Star Wars. I really like Conan the Barbarian. But I also really like Octavia Butler and Alice Walker and Zora Neale Hurston, right? And embracing all those different facets of me, all those different sides of me, right? That's when I found the most success. So it's not some kind of formula. Ain't no formula, right? It's being yourself. And
Right.
what's for you, what is for you.
Right.
Before we get out of here, because you work from a place of inspiration, and this is kind of like I guess a weird question, but maybe you have an answer. Is there someone you want to work with? And what is your dream platform in which your work should thrive? Are you going to be direct film, coffee table books? Like, where do you want all that to live?
All right, I'm gonna tell you something, right? And I hope he sees this. I bought this purple velvet fabric because I want to make a portrait of Raekwon so bad, right? If I could just have Raekwon in front of my lens, I don't know what I would do. I would be very excited. I would keep it contained, but I might run a lap afterwards. You feel what I mean? Yeah, Raekwon for sure. Raekwon for sure.
Hey, I'm with you,
But
Melissa. He's one of my favorite Wu-Tang too. I love Raekwon.
it's the part for me. It's the part. It's I when I was bald, like I had cut my hair off a few years ago, right? And I sat in the barber's chair and he was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want a part like Raekwon. And he was like, what? What? I was like, just make it look like, give me the thing, give me the part, give me the Raekwon. And he was like, all right, do you want me to line it up? I was like, line it up, right? So if I could, let me just get Raekwon. But, I want my work to be where it's supposed to be, right? Whether that's on TV or, magazine. I would eventually like to have a coffee table book. And that's when really Around the Way Dreams, I want to spend all of 2021 exploring what that looks like, right? And gathering portraits and gathering stories and gathering film and like just gathering all of this information to eventually in 2022, God willing, have a coffee table book so that other Around the Way girls, know that they're not alone and that, and honestly, it's not just for Around the Way girls. It's really for Around the Way girls and those that love them, right? Because I don't ever want to exclude the Black man from what I do, right? So much of who I feel comfortable being right now is because a Black man helped to affirm me and be like, yo, I like that shit. Just be yourself, right?
Right.
Because of that, right? My daughter affirms me. I'm able to affirm her, right? So it's the Black woman, the Black man, and the Black child, right? So it's for around the way girls and those that love them. So it's for everybody.
Pee Wee knows I love a good coffee table book.
That she does.
Come
And
on.
she got some at her house too. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you. Les, I would love for you to be a part of this book. I was like, yo, I was telling my homegirl, my best friend, I was like, yo, you think we could get out to like Cali or something? Like, where do you think she's at? So we could get maybe get like a portrait or something. Like I would love that.
Done and done.
Done and done?
Done and done.
Yes.
I'm such a fan. It would be my honor. What are you kidding?
Oh my God.
Seriously. I sent
I'm gonna run a lap after this. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm about to go outside and I'm gonna scream in the street and I'm gonna be like, oh my God, this is surreal, yo. Surreal.
I sent copies of your images and stuff, and I just was like, oh my God, Pee Wee, we have to get on the show. He's like,
yeah.
Yo. I was like, I gotta make room in my house. People tell you I don't have room on my wall for nothing else, but I'm find some.
Yo, so I gotta get you a print. I gotta get you a print or something. Like, I gotta get you a print.
Well, I'm going to buy a print, so let's figure out which one that I want.
There we go. There we go.
See, I love this. You know, connecting the dots. This is what we do, man. This is what the spin room is all about, edutaining you. Melissa Alexander, we truly appreciate you taking the time out your day to hang out with us. Now, before we go, let everybody know how they can find you, social media, website. How can they see your work?
Yeah, my website is phyllisiller.com. That's PhyllisIller. Very much like the comedian Phyllis Diller, but no D, unfortunately, right? So phyllisiller.com, phyllis.iller on Instagram. And the best ways to reach me, definitely drop by, say hello. I also have my account for Around the Way Dreams, which is exactly how it sounds, Around the Way Dreams.
Well, we truly appreciate you stopping by the spin.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It's
such a pleasure. Now, remember, you always have an open door policy to join us on the spin room. You have anything going on you want to promote and talk about, we are here for you. So all you got to do is send us a kite and you on the show. All right.
Oh, word up. Thank you, guys. It was it was lovely meeting you, P.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll be shopping soon and talk to you about our prints. So.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ladies and gents, on this Feel Good Friday, thank you very much for rocking with us. That is our special guest right there, Melissa Alexander. So please make sure that you drop by her website, her IG, and tap in, man, because she's doing some great things out here in the world, man, and we want to support our people. So make sure you do so. For my girl, Big Les, I'll be your man, Bigg Pwee. You guys enjoy your Friday. We see you guys soon. All right, man? Peace.
Yeah. You are now live